Hi, my name is Borke, and today I'll be presenting a paper titled The Burden of Ending Online Account Sharing. And we worked on this paper at the University of British Columbia with other researchers. So what exactly are online accounts? Online accounts refer to accounts that you need the internet for you to be able to use this account. And Pack et al. Categorized online accounts into different types of categories. And you find out that many types of online accounts exist. For example, finance accounts, your PayPal account, your Vimeo account, all of these are online accounts. Also, we have your social and your entertainment types of accounts. For example, you have your Netflix account, your Facebook account. All of these fall into the social and the entertainment type of online accounts. We also have your lifestyle accounts, for example, your Amazon account. And then we could have like your information and learning account, for example, your fitness types of accounts, your allrecipes.com types of online accounts. Now, many people share online accounts. Statistics shows that 54% of Americans share accounts, and this is just in the US alone. For example, statistics also show that 75% of these Americans share entertainment accounts, such as your Netflix account, and 41% share lifestyle accounts. Sharing occurs even in situations where you would normally expect high security and privacy, for example, among political candidates. Nadine Dorries is a member of the UK Parliament, and she tweeted a couple of years back of how all of her staff has a login details. It's a normal thing for you to just come to work and ask, what is my password? So you find out that sharing of accounts occurs even in situations where you wouldn't normally expect that people would share accounts. So all of this begs the question, why exactly do people share accounts? And research shows that people share accounts for a lot of reasons. I'm just going to look at 3 reasons. For example, for household maintenance. In a household, it could be easier for people to just share an Amazon account that already exists rather than create a household Amazon account. Also, for convenience, in some families, it could be easier for you to just give your kids your Apple password rather than having to create like an iTunes account for your kids in order for them to download content. And sometimes people share accounts to show intimacy. It could be situations of, we are in a romantic relationship, I love you, you love me, and so I'm just going to share this account with you as a sign of trust. However, whatever has a beginning will definitely have an end. It's like gravity, whatever goes up has to come down. And at some point, the sharing of this account ends. People could move out of an apartment where they used to share accounts. Teenagers could decide when they grow older that they no longer want to share accounts in the family. They want their own personal accounts. And all relationships sometimes do not last. People break up, people move on. It then begs the question, what exactly happens when account sharing ends? What happens to those personal content that used to be shared? How do people disintegrate this content? And how can people's security and privacy be protected in the process? Our research investigated 2 research questions. The first is, what are the security and privacy challenges that people encounter in ending the sharing of online accounts? And the second research question is, how can systems then be designed to address these challenges but protect user security and privacy when account sharing ends? Why is this important? Why are we looking at this? Doing this research will provide insight into the challenges that people encounter when ending account sharing. Also, it will improve the user experiences in ending the sharing of online accounts, and it will also safeguard people's personal information. It will help to ensure that people do not lose their personal content or their privacy when they decide that they want to end the sharing of online accounts. In exploring this research question, we conducted semi-structured interviews, and each interview lasted for an average of 40 minutes. Also, we conducted some in-person and also some online interviews, depending on participants' preference. We had 3 inclusion criteria. Participant had to be 19 years or older. Also, participant had to have stopped sharing at least 1 online account in the 12 months preceding the study, and all participants could be in the process of ending online account sharing. We had 25 diverse participants. In terms of gender, we had 60% female, and we also had diversity in terms of age and gender as well. And we continued doing recruiting people and interviewing people till we reach saturation. And we also used thematic analysis to analyze our findings. So what exactly are our findings? What exactly did we find out by conducting this research? So we found that people have the burdens of ending online account sharing. There were burdens in ending online account sharing. And we categorize this burden into two. We could categorize it into cognitive burden and psychosocial burden. We define cognitive burden as the mental effort or the mental cost that people have to go through in ending online account sharing. I'm just going to go through three of them. In our paper, we cover more. One of the cognitive burden that we found was remembering secondary users. We found that the participant had difficulty in remembering who exactly were the people that I shared these accounts with. So when ending account sharing, it was difficult to end account sharing because they don't even remember who they shared the accounts with in the first place. For example, one of our participants during the interview session, she realized that she still shared her Microsoft 365 account with her ex. So she didn't want to keep sharing this account, but she just forgot that that account was still being shared. People also had the cognitive burden of changing passwords. One of the participants said it's annoying to have to change password and then have to keep track of those passwords. So in order for them to avoid changing passwords, they then engage in so many unsafe security and privacy behaviors in ending the sharing of online accounts. Also, people had the cognitive burden of remembering which passwords was reused on other accounts. For example, a participant said in order for her to mitigate this problem in ending online account sharing, she just decided that she was going to use just one password and then tweak it a little differently. This made it easier for her to end the sharing of online accounts rather than having to remember what password was reused on each account for every time that she had to end online account sharing. For psychosocial burden, we define psychosocial burden as the emotional and the social cost involved in ending the sharing of online accounts. Some of the psychosocial burden was the risk of account hijacking. Now, this was a possibility, especially in relationships, in romantic relationships that did not end well. For example, one of our participants had a situation whereby her ex impersonated her online, took control of her account, changed her password. It was more like a racing condition of who was going to change the password first when the account sharing ends. Another psychosocial burden was avoiding awkward conversations. We found that there were some situations whereby people wanted to maintain their personal or their interpersonal relationship and still end the account sharing. For example, we found that a participant had the problem of she wanted to keep her privacy. She wanted to maintain her privacy and stop sharing an account with her friend, but then she also wanted to maintain the relationship. And for her, it would be very impolite for her to tell her friend, oh, I no longer want to share this account with you. And so therefore, she kept sharing the account even though she wanted to stop sharing that account. Another psychosocial burden was the stress of being unable to delete a joint content. For example, a participant shared a Google Drive account with her ex, and it was just one account. But then when the romantic relationship ended, she wanted to recover all of her pictures and all of those things and delete the content. But in a sense, it was a joint account, so she had no way of doing this. Based on our findings, we also categorize online accounts into accounts that are designed for sharing, which we call DS accounts, and accounts that are not designed for sharing, which we call NDS accounts. For accounts that are designed for sharing, how can we design these accounts to also facilitate the ending of sharing? For these types of accounts, we suggest the following. We suggest that companies support the transfer of user profiles from an existing to a new account. Through this way, people can still maintain their privacy and their personal content even when the sharing of those accounts end. We also suggest that companies could look into allowing users to label devices as their primary devices or as their secondary devices, and this would also facilitate the ending of those accounts whenever sharing ends. Also, allow users to limit the duration of sign-in. We had a situation whereby someone signed into someone else's account, Netflix account, on her laptop, and she's been using that Netflix account for over 18 months without the knowledge of the primary user that signed into that account. Also, ensure that the primary user always stays in control of the account. Another way we could look at this is maybe companies could also provide an option of equal account sharing, such that once account sharing ends, it doesn't become a racing condition of who exactly, if it's going to be the primary or the secondary user that could change the password of that account first. We also discovered that the reasonable and unreasonable sharing of accounts. For example, in sharing DS accounts, the terms of service is not violated because DS accounts are designed to be shared, and also revenue being reduced does not apply. But we found out that there could be reasonable sharing use cases for NDS accounts, whereby, yes, the terms of services are violated because NDS accounts are not to be shared, but the revenue of the company is not reduced. We found such situations in accounts such as LinkedIn. We found that our users wanted to share their LinkedIn account so that people could help them make their profile look more professional. But this is against the terms of service, but then the revenue is not being reduced for those companies. We also found out that there were unreasonable sharing of NDS accounts, whereby the terms of service is violated and the revenue is reduced. For example, we found out that some participants wanted to share their Spotify single user account without paying the subscription fee. Now, what exactly can we do in cases of reasonable sharing of NDS accounts? We suggest that developers look into supporting passwordless sharing of account personal content, such that the ending of these accounts does not also lead to privacy issues. For example, in the case of LinkedIn, if people actually want to share their LinkedIn accounts, that could be supported just for the sharing of their profiles, such that their profiles can be edited by professionals. Also, companies could look into supporting the granting of fine-grained permission for other users. Furthermore, design household utility accounts with multiple users in mind. This presentation did not go in depth into household accounts, but we discovered that household accounts are designed with single users in mind. So it becomes a problem when people move out of those accounts and want to end the sharing of those accounts. You could look into the paper for more details on household utility accounts. Furthermore, you could support household accounts on shared devices as well. So what exactly is the key takeaway of this research? People share accounts. That is common knowledge. People have problems ending the sharing of online accounts. But there are reasonable but currently unsupported sharing use cases for some NDS accounts. And so therefore, we have to look into ways whereby we could allow people to share these accounts and at the same time protect their privacy and security, rather than to let people engage into unsafe privacy and security behaviors in order to share these accounts. Thank you so much for listening to this presentation.